Madeline Brame is a Blexit activist, and she joins me now. She was also in the Bronx last night for that rally with Donald Trump. Tell us a little bit about it, Madeline. What did you see? What did you feel?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very disturbed, number one, by these comments that these paid, elected officials off of our tax dollar are making towards a whole entire demographic of American citizens. They work for us. We don't work for them. They got it twisted, okay? Yesterday, out in the Bronx, that was electric. There was something supernatural about that whole entire experience. The energy that was in that park of people of all races, all creeds, all religions, all together on one accord. And we were happy and we were excited. It was magical. You had to be there to understand and feel the energy. None of those rich people in suits would ever step foot in there. Donald Trump did, and we had his ear. He showed us that he cared.
You know, Madeline, they've got away with saying that. They can feel confident because they've gotten away with saying those types of things for half a century. They've gotten away with accusing their opponents of racism. They've gotten away with making broken and unfulfilled promises for half a century. Why this time will it be different?
It'll be different because they fumbled us, okay? 60, 70 years of being loyal to a party that has never returned anything to our community. We have gotten nothing but welfare on top of welfare. Crime, dilapidated housing, failing schools, okay? Safe injection sites, abortion clinics, liquor stores, okay? What's the latest thing they put in there? Those legal weed spots. This is all they give us because they think that these are the things that will satisfy and pacify us. Keep all that crap, okay? Make some major investments in those communities and bring some serious jobs. Replace the guns, replace the drugs with hammers and nails and drills and steel worker and iron worker. All right, use those young men who were involved in the criminal justice system to renovate and rebuild that dilapidated housing and pay them good money with benefits so they can take care of their children, all right, and help lift them up out of poverty, all right, instead of enabling the outright just decimation, all right? Make some pathways that will help them avoid incarceration, right? All this crap that they're talking, I've been around a long time, a whole bunch of 24/7s, okay? And I voted Democrat loyally, and they have done nothing. They fumbled. They fumbled the black vote. They fumbled the minority vote. They fumbled the Democratic vote, and it's no more. It's over.
Preach. Beautiful. You almost started a sequel to the rally right here on Primetime. Thank you so much, Madeline.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.
We're going to Katie Fang, attorney and host of the Katie Fang Show here on MSNBC that ended about, I don't know, what, 3 minutes ago? Anyway, Katie, thank you so much for sticking around for this. What does JackSmith want Judge Cannon to do here?
So as you heard from Julie, it's a modification of your bond conditions. So any criminal defendant who is arrested and being prosecuted has bond conditions, and they vary. Not only do you have to post a monetary bail amount, but then when you're out on public release and you're not being held in custody pending your trial, you have to behave. And what you hear from special counsel JackSmith is, we're not trying to limit Donald Trump's First Amendment right to free speech. Any criminal defendant does have that right. But here's the rub. When you are a criminal defendant, though, that cannot run counter to justice and the fair and proper administration of justice. And JackSmith is calling out Donald Trump for his post and the fact that he has the ability to expand and to amplify potential hatred, violence, and some really wrongdoing against members of law enforcement because Donald Trump knows that he's lying. He is lying about what happened and the conditions for that search warrant that was executed on Mar-a-Lago back in August of 2022.
So, so this motion, it says that Trump's words, and you're saying this, they put a target essentially on the backs of FBI agents, and it points the judge to an armed attack on an FBI office in Ohio after the Mar-a-Lago search. And Katie, some of the agents who took part in this search, they may be witnesses against Trump. So does that give compelling reason to Judge Cannon to take urgent action on this?
Well, Alex, we kind of have to balance our expectations against the fact that this is Judge Aileen Cannon, who so far has not necessarily shown, I think, a measure of respect for the concerns that have been raised by JackSmith. Remember, there has been litigation along the way. There have been battles in the courtroom over what can be publicly disclosed. Aileen Cannon taking a very casual approach to something that involves not only classified documents, national secrets for the United States, but also when it comes to the people, the employees, the personnel, the law enforcement that have involved in this case. And Aileen Cannon has taken the approach of erring on the side of more is better when JackSmith has said, no, less actually is better. And so in this instance, when you have a discovery process where the names of law enforcement agents that participated in the execution of that search warrant, that have been a part of the process to be able to bring this prosecution, there is a valid concern on JackSmith's part that the more information is out there that's publicly accessible, the more of a risk it poses for the literal safety and the lives of those law enforcement.
Okay, Katie, I'm going to ask you to do just a little more OT and stay with me because we have much more to get to. And
a parasocial relationship is a sort of illusion. It's not just being a fan. A fan admires the work of a musician or actor or public figure, but you don't feel as though you are friends with them. Horton and Worrell coined this term in 1956, and at that time, their work really focused on the character that the person was playing. For example, a viewer believing they had a relationship with the doctor in the story and not the person playing the doctor. The parasocial game has changed in the era of social media and reality TV because there is the role these folks play, but also the sense that we are drawn into their lives. And social media can mean that you can send them messages or comment on their lives, which in fact, someone on their team responds to, not them. As a result, people may experience frank emotional reactions when the celebrity they have a parasocial relationship with has a breakup, health crisis, or other personal issue. A clinically extreme version of a parasocial relationship is something we observe in erotomania or de Clerambault's syndrome, when a person is convinced a public figure is in love with them and acts in accordance with that belief, which is not only delusional, but can also be dangerous. While parasocial relationships are not delusional per se, they may result in an over-identification with a person with whom there is no relationship, which can also result in a person not cultivating real relationships that have real reciprocity and support built into them.
Now to the war between Israel and Hamas. This morning, international pressure on Israel is intensifying after the UN's top court called for a halt to the offensive in Gaza. Britt Clennett joins us now from Tel Aviv with the latest. Britt, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Yeah, the fighting rages on in Gaza, despite that ruling by the UN's top court ordering Israel to stop its very controversial military operation in Rafah. Now, Israel said the court ruling was outrageous. It said it was morally repugnant. It said it was disgusting. And it said that claims that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza are false, that it is acting within international law. Even though the ICJ, it can make legally binding rulings in disputes between countries, in this case, it actually has no way of enforcing those orders. So instead, it has to rely on tools from other governments like sanctions or even arms embargoes to really press Israel into compliance. But this ruling, it is largely symbolic. It does add to Israel's increasing isolation that we're seeing on the world stage. Meanwhile, Egypt, it said it agrees to send UN aid trucks through the Kerem Shalom crossing, which is Israel's main entry point into southern Gaza. But really, it isn't clear whether those trucks will even be able to.
Let's bring in Trump campaign press secretary now, Caroline Leavitt. Caroline, great to see you tonight. Tell us a little bit about the strategy. Donald Trump has looked to go into Democratic strongholds, the bluest of the blue. And here it is in the Bronx. What's the strategy for the campaign for Donald Trump?
Well, our strategy is to continue playing on offense. President Trump continues to dominate Joe Biden in traditional battleground states such as Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. We are seeing that across the board. Poll after poll shows him winning. So we're going on offense in these traditionally blue Democrat states such as Minnesota, such as Virginia, New York, New Jersey. These are states that are legitimately in play, and President Trump is leading the charge by going into these longtime Democrat communities, Democrat-run cities that have been run into the ground by corrupt and disgusting Democrat politicians who have made empty promises and delivered nothing but death and destruction and crime and violence. And President Trump's message of optimism, of hope, of making these cities in our country wealthy and safe and prosperous again is resonating with all Americans of all backgrounds, regardless of their race, religion, or creed. And so while we play on offense, Joe Biden and the Democrats are on defense. They are panicking. You could see it on the faces of everyone on CNN last night and this morning, and they know that Joe Biden is in serious trouble right now.
Well, the other thing I would think, Carolyn, about going to these areas is you're going directly to the places where Democratic policies have been implemented. So all the results, the real-world effects of those policies are most acutely felt in these neighborhoods like the Bronx. So the question is, Caroline, where do you go next?
Well, I will let President Trump announce that. We will be going to many Democrat-run cities, especially in battleground states across this country. And you're right, Will. The citizens in these cities have felt a tangible difference in their lives from President Trump's presidency to now Joe Biden's disastrous and failing presidency. And the message we hear from these residents every single time is that I'm sick and tired of being put last ahead of illegal people who do not deserve to be here in the first place. President Trump will put Americans first. He will provide them with hope and opportunity and jobs. He will secure our southern border. He will demand law and order in our streets.
Sadly for America, you have plenty of cities to choose from. You can go to Detroit. You can go to San Francisco. Sadly, you can go to any dozens of states across this country. Caroline, we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for being with us tonight on Primetime.
Good to see you, Will.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.